Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are breaking down some absolutely massive industry-shaking announcements that just dropped at Microsoft Build 2026 in San Francisco. If you've been paying any attention at all to the AI space, you know Microsoft has been making some incredibly aggressive moves. But honestly, what they just revealed, it kind of changes the entire landscape. We're looking at a completely new direction for the tech giant, a total unapologetic shift to full-stack AI independence. Okay, let's dive right into this. For the last few years, Microsoft's AI strategy has essentially been, well, synonymous with OpenAI, right? But this year's event forces us to ask a really big question. What actually happens when Microsoft takes absolute control of its own destiny? What happens when they build the hardware, the operating system, and the cutting-edge reasoning models completely in-house? The short answer? It's a monumental shift in how developers and prosumers are going to interact with AI from here on out. So here's how we're going to break this down today. We'll start with the high-level 2026 AI paradigm shift. Then we'll explore powering local AI hardware and a frictionless Windows 11. After that, we'll dive into MAI-Thinking-1 and local models, look ahead to the future of AI agents, and wrap up with why this matters today. We are building our understanding from the physical hardware layer all the way up to the new AI brains. Section 1. The 2026 AI paradigm shift, from cloud to full stack. When CEO Satya Nadella opened the keynote, the tone was vastly different from previous years. They are no longer content just integrating cloud endpoints into Office apps or acting as a reseller for cloud API access. No, Microsoft is aggressively building out proprietary model capacity and the dedicated hardware to run it locally. This is a massive infrastructure investment. They are literally laying down the tracks to own the entire AI lifecycle, from the silicon all the way up to the enterprise reasoning models. It's making them a completely self-sufficient AI powerhouse. Moving on to Section 2, powering local AI hardware, the Surface Dev Box. Now, what's really interesting about this detail is that Microsoft actually used a compact PC live on stage during the keynote, and it looked a little bit like a flattened Xbox Series X. But what's absolutely wild is what's packed inside that thing. 128 gigabytes of unified memory. To put that into perspective, that's enough memory to open at least 3 Google Chrome tabs. Okay, jokes aside, unified memory of this size is a total game changer. It means massive, highly complex AI models can run entirely in active memory without ever having to swap data over to a slower SSD. It removes the bottleneck entirely. And because this device ships with the brand new NVIDIA RTX Spark chip, developers can finally stop routing every single call to a pricey cloud API. You can actually experiment with massive models. Think along the lines of a 70 billion parameter model, running locally with zero cloud costs and essentially zero latency. It completely removes the friction from modern AI development. It just gives builders incredible freedom to experiment. All right, Section 3, a frictionless Windows 11, unified and optimized. And this brilliantly illustrates how Microsoft is reshaping things one layer up in the software stack. In the old Windows environment, trying to utilize the CPU, the GPU, or a neural processing unit meant managing this messy, highly fragmented web of coding paths. It was a headache. Well, not anymore. The expanded Windows AI APIs now provide unified API dispatch. So what does that mean for you? It means you no longer have to rewrite your inference code to target different chips. The operating system just intelligently and automatically routes your workload to the most efficient compute path available. To push this even further, Build 2026 previewed a new developer-optimized Windows 11 experience. Seriously, if you're a developer who has ever been a little jealous of macOS or Linux setups right out of the box, this is going to be a breath of fresh air. It's a completely distraction-free environment packed with pre-installed tools, scripts, and dev-focused system defaults. It finally delivers on Microsoft's promise to rewrite core parts of Windows 11 for raw performance and, honestly, just developer sanity. Section 4. MAI-Thinking-1 and local models, the new brains. So the crucial point is that we are now at the top layer of the stack. Under the leadership of Mustafa Suleyman, the Microsoft AI team unveiled their new in-house brains. Leading the pack is MAI-Thinking-1. This is an enterprise-grade reasoning model, which means instead of just quickly guessing the next word, it fundamentally stops and thinks through complex problems step by step before giving you an answer. But the really profound detail here is how it was made. They didn't just use distillation, they didn't just copy the homework of a larger, smarter model like OpenAI's GPT-4 to train a smaller one. No, they built this entirely from the ground up on their own data pipeline. Rounding out this new proprietary ecosystem, Microsoft also dropped some incredibly useful local models, Aeon 1.0 Instruct and Aeon 1.0 Plan. These are a big deal because they ship natively directly within Windows, and they run locally on those unified APIs we just talked about. And for your visual assets, they introduced MI Image 2.5, which includes a lightning-fast flash variant. Basically, they are aggressively covering all their bases to ensure you literally never have to leave the Microsoft ecosystem. Section 5. The future of AI agents, moving beyond the PC. While those new models dramatically affect how we work right now today, Microsoft is already pivoting to a post-PC future with something called Project Solara. This is a brand new Android-based operating system, but just to be absolutely clear here, it is not meant for standard mobile phones, and it's definitely not for your traditional laptop. Project Solara is designed exclusively for a completely new class of hardware that exists solely to host and execute native AI agent workflows. It's an OS built from the ground up for an era where AI agents do all of the navigating for us. The roadmap they laid out here is just undeniable. Look at this chronological progression. Today, we have Scout, their always-on personal AI assistant. In the near future, we're going to get the hardware running Project Solara. But looking even further down the road, Microsoft just introduced Majorana 2. This is a next-generation quantum computing chip that they claim officially advances the timeline to truly useful quantum computing. They are quite literally laying the hardware foundation for intelligence we probably can't even fully conceptualize yet. Section 6. Why this matters today. Your next steps. Let's move to and see how this builds into actual practical takeaways for you. It's so easy to get lost in the hype of quantum chips and agent operating systems, but what do you actually do when you sit down at your desk tomorrow morning? Well, here is your actionable checklist. First, if you build on Windows, check out those updated Windows AI APIs immediately to take advantage of that unified dispatch. Second, do the math. You need to evaluate if a machine like the Surface DevBox with 128 gigs of unified memory makes financial sense compared to what you're currently paying for monthly cloud API inference. And finally, keep a really close eye out for independent benchmarks. We need to see how MAI-Thinking-1 actually performs against the competition out there in the real world without all the marketing spin. I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. We are seeing Microsoft bring massive, non-distilled reasoning models all the way down to local hardware with enough unified memory to run them flawlessly. So will on-device AI eventually become so incredibly powerful and cost-effective that it replaces the cloud entirely for our daily inference needs? It is a completely fascinating paradigm shift, and for sure, we'll be watching it every single step of the way. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep experimenting out there, and I'll see you next time.